Did you know that this was the original Apple logo, which was created in 1976 by my great uncle Ronald Wayne? If you don't know who Ron Wayne is, he is an interesting character who sold 10% of his stake in Apple for $10,000. Most economists would say it was one of the biggest American business blunders in history because that $10,000 he sold it for would be worth about $250 billion based on today's valuation of Apple. There's a lot to learn from somebody who has such a storied background in history. And just being in the family and hearing some stories, there's a lot to learn from my Uncle Ron's story. But I think in the context of small business, which is where I've spent most of my life, I've learned a lot and drawn a lot from that logo, especially when it comes to home service businesses or small businesses in general, really overthinking and overcomplicating their logo when they're either just starting out their business or trying to kind of reimagine themselves as they scale their company. So if you've made it this far, let's give some action items. I'm going to put these action items into 3 different buckets. Bucket 1 is the 0 to 1. You're probably creating your first logo or turning your hobby into a business. If this is you and you don't have deep pockets and you don't have the ability to create a full brand styles guide and have a branding company, then either focus on a DIY. If you're an artist yourself, you can go to Canva, you can use AI to make just a baseline logo that has the colors and the fonts and the features that you want. Don't overthink it. Just think about your mission, your vision, your purpose, and what story can your logo tell you in complement with your brand. The next phase, which is where me as a business coach and my agency really works with, is that person doing between $300 and $3 million a year. This is when you're really starting to get the cash and the capital to invest in your first real brand. You're not going to hire maybe a full-on branding company where you're going to spend up to 6 figures on a brand, but you're starting to really understand your company, your culture, your service portfolio, and you're getting that 3 to 5 to 10 year picture of what your brand is. For this, I would recommend talking to somebody who understands a brand portfolio, somebody who can have an in-depth couple-hour conversation with you, asking you those really deep questions about your mission, vision, purpose. Letting them either craft that logo for you or you getting the ideas and the inspiration to work with somebody, whether internally in your team, hiring a designer, or maybe even a virtual assistant or a company that specializes in logo and brand design. At some point in time, at a different level for every business, your brand gets to the point where the consistency, the continuity, the messaging, all needs to be in alignment throughout the entire customer journey. There are actually brands that focus on working with Fortune 500 companies specifically for branding and the psychology of branding. I had the opportunity several years ago to work with a large multi-billion-dollar organization that went through a rebranding and got to see just how intense this exercise was. When you think about Fortune 500 companies, they have a wide enough reach, they have a big enough audience to where that inconsistency in the branding and when the messaging gets off, it can have a tremendous impact and loss for their brand. So they want to make sure they're working with somebody with the experience to get that brand dialed in. So in conclusion, if you're like most people that I'm working with or like the overwhelming majority of small businesses in the country, you're probably between the $100,000 and $10 million range. At that point in time, you don't necessarily need to be focusing on that world-class brand. Focus on your mission, your vision, your purpose, your culture, the product that you deliver, and how it relates to your logo. Your logo is incredibly important, but don't overthink it. Focus on delivering an excellent product and an excellent experience to your customers, and your brand will continue to evolve. And once you're ready to go through that rebranding or the reimagining of your brand, you'll have so much more experience to draw from the internal processes that you've created, the culture that you have, and the vision that your business has as it moves forward. You focus on the delivery of your product and the excellence that your company has and delivers, your brand will be so much more important than having a pretty logo with a fun image or cartoon character or whatever it is that you have. I hope this video was helpful, and I look forward to delivering so much more content, specifically drawing from my experience with Apple Computer. Have a fantastic day, and thank you so much.